The vacuum leak is somewhere in this area down here. I'm not sure what this piece is called. The throttle plate connects to it and then it runs down to the intake manifold. I think the leak's down here somewhere, and my only guess is that it's the gasket. So that's what I'm going to be changing. Check this rubber boot here. This is fine, no signs of cracks or anything. I'm going to turn the truck on and hopefully you can hear the sound. Need to remove the air intake hose from here. Unscrew this clamp. Need to unplug this hose over here. Be careful, because when they pop out, you can hurt your hands. Pull this vacuum line out right here. It's going to be hard to get it out. Inspect this rubber boot for damage. It actually still looks brand new. Be careful with these vacuum lines, they're plastic, they could break because they're brittle probably from age. I suspect right down here below this is where the gasket failed and it's leaking, because that's the only thing there that could be leaking. It's unlikely that the aluminum has any cracks in it that formed over time. It's possible, but I can hear the sound of the vacuum leak in this area when the engine's running. It's strongest over here, and that's the only thing there. I checked this, I put my hand on it and moved it around to see if that would change the sound that was coming out, as if I was temporarily sealing the leak, and it didn't, so that's not leaking there. The only thing it could be is that gasket that's in there. See, you got the firewall in the way. It's always something. So I'm gonna have, for that bolt, I'm gonna have to find a shorter 8mm socket. This is 8mm. Now you can, I'm gonna try to leave all this stuff attached, and I should be able to still pull the piece off and change the gasket. I was able to get my socket right here with one extension to get to this bolt down here. These bolts are tricky to get to because there's stuff in the way. But all these other parts have their own gaskets, and I don't have those gaskets and don't want to have to change them. This one I already did in another video a while ago, so there's no point changing it again because there's no signs that that gasket is leaking. Of course, you have to remove 50 things to get this thing off. So you have to remove this piece here, and you have to remove this exhaust pipe for the EGR. This nut's a 10mm to get this hose off of here. Now you have to unscrew this down here. It should come off with the wrench. Adjustable wrench. I've taken this off before. Inspect all these rubber hoses. See any that are really dry rotted or cracked? Replace them while you got this out. This one back here, you gotta be careful because this tube is plastic. I don't know where it goes. Just remember I replaced this years ago. I put the clamp in a bad spot. Not sure where that line even goes. Anybody knows what this line is for back here, a plastic thing? Let me know in the comments. Okay, now we got to remove the throttle cable. Shouldn't be too hard. Pull this up. Yeah, there we go. The other cable is for the cruise control, I believe. This one. That's not gonna come off. Now normally I guess you would take this whole thing apart, but I already replaced this gasket here a few years ago. I don't want to have to do that again. The old gasket. Now the area I thought it was leaking was over here. It seems to be okay in that area. You look back here, right here on the gasket, you can see it black, almost like it was being sucked in, which is what would happen from the vacuum. Maybe it was being sucked in there. Not sure exactly. Hey, look here, the gasket looks smashed here, like it was torqued too much on that spot. Let's see if I can get it off. See there, closer up, hopefully you can see that. See the dirt? There's dirt getting in, it looks like that was a leak. Hopefully this will fix my misfire problem. Now I have to clean the matting surfaces very carefully because these parts are aluminum. You don't want to scratch it or gouge it. I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol and probably a plastic scraper. Once you get the surfaces as clean as you can, then you're going to reinstall everything. And you can use a razor blade to remove the old gasket material, but you have to be very careful. So don't do it if you're not confident that you won't gouge the metal. And I also used 2000 sandpaper to sand down the surface, clean it up a little bit better, and I used alcohol, rubbing alcohol. The gasket only fits on one way. Only issue is it's gonna be a little tricky to get this in, so I'm gonna have to put the piece over it and then carefully work the bolts in one at a time. See how clean it is? Very gently make sure the gasket, try to get the gasket and all the holes to line up, the bolt holes to line up, and very carefully put this on top. There are some issues because this stupid exhaust pipe's in the way. Once you get them all in, then you're going to tighten them down until they touch the top of this piece. And then you have to torque them down incrementally. This thing is hard to get the thread in, I don't know why. Make sure you do it with the engine off overnight because this pipe has exhaust going through it, so it does get hot. Now I'm gonna get my wrench and snug it up. Next, put this line back here. This goes here, and there's a nut. This nut is 10 millimeter. Reattach this vacuum line. I put this glue because the rubber on these dry rots a lot. So the glue helps to make it last longer. I have to figure out where this spring goes because I don't remember. Might have to look at the video footage. I'm thinking it goes there. I'll double check the video when I edit it. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that works. And I need to pull this back. Pull this back, put this little piece in there like that. Let me, if I can put this piece in there. Now you should be able to see what I'm doing. That, let it go. The throttle cable's reattached. And also right here, be careful with this plastic. There used to be plastic over here. One day the plastic broke and it made my throttle get stuck open, and I had to pull over and shut the truck off because it was running at 4,000 RPM. So if you still have that plastic there, I would go ahead and break it off. Get rid of it, because it's just a safety thing. Check all your hoses in here, make sure they're not broken. Plug these back in. Inspect the air intake for damage. Just plug the sensor back in. Reattach these hoses. Put this thing in. There we go. Looks like everything's back together now. Now you're gonna turn the truck on, and hopefully the misfire problem is gone with this truck, and that vacuum leak is not heard anymore.